for the general elections, which are due to take place here this coming January 8th.
All right. Very much appreciate the update, Declan. Thank you.
My pleasure.
That's Declan Walsh of The Guardian reporting from the airport as we await the arrival of Nawaz Sharif. So to talk more about where Pakistan's political crisis may be headed next, lawyer Aisha Khan joins us. She's an opponent of Musharraf's living in London. Aisha, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
What are your expectations in anticipation of Nawaz Sharif trying to return to Pakistan?
Well, you know, as the reporter on the ground in Pakistan mentioned, he's been trying to return for some time now. He tried to come back in September and he was deported immediately. That was subsequently challenged in the court, and there was a contempt proceeding that was going on while the Chief Justice had been removed. The important thing to note here is that General Musharraf, in desperation to hang on to power, is willing to compromise with political opponents. However, his crackdown on the judiciary and on the lawyers' movement and on the journalists is extremely severe. I think his main opponents at the moment are the lawyers and the journalists. And the politicians are trying to free ride off of that movement. What we're seeing in Pakistan is essentially a maturing of the polity, where people are almost trying to break away from the personality-based politics that we've had in Pakistan for a while now to issues-based politics. And the key opponents of Musharraf are arguing for rule of law, supremacy of the constitution, and independence of the judiciary. That is the real opposition to him.
So then if I pick up on that point, then what would be, in your expectation, the next move on the part of lawyers who we have seen regularly protest in the streets of Pakistan, but also the media as well, who has tried to put reports out there? Many of them haven't been able to do that. So what is your next move? What do you think the next move will be from those two fronts then?
Well, one does have to wait and see how the politicians react as well. There was an all-parties democratic movement that was launched by Mr. Nawaz Sharif himself earlier this year in London, and many parties joined him when the state of emergency was imposed, and when Ms. Bhutto returned to Pakistan, and General Musharraf said that elections would be held in January. Most of the parties of the APDM decided that they would boycott the elections. In fact, there have been several smaller parties who have stood by that decision to boycott the elections. If Mr. Nawaz Sharif throws himself into the electoral process, I think he will taint himself politically. I feel the same way about Ms. Bhutto. If she throws herself into this electoral process in a state of emergency, that is not what the people want. They want elections in due course, but they want a return to normalization. They want the judiciary to work independently. They want the judges who have been deposed and who were working very hard to give the poor justice, give women justice, and question high-ranking officials of the government when they were out of line. They want those judges to be returned. They have been replaced by a kangaroo Supreme Court at the moment, by a number of hand-picked judges who are willing to pass any verdict that General Musharraf and his cronies want them to. The people are very unhappy with the situation. They want the politicians to represent their interests and not just try to make compromise deals and trying to, point score against one another. That is why they're looking to the lawyers and the journalists to represent them more than the politicians.
Well, we will see what shall happen. As I recall, in about an hour's time, when Nawaz Sharif lands in the country, what impact that will have. In the meantime, Aisha Khan, thank you so much for your insight today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And still to come this hour, more on the countdown to today's